Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are dialing in. And so, thanks a lot for joining this session. This is one of our initial series on the Gen AI. My apologies, I'm in a little bad weather. So, um, anyway, so the thought I'll probably give you a brief introduction, and I'll let Surya take over. Something which all of you are looking forward. Thanks again for joining. So I'll start off giving a brief introduction, what we're going to cover, and then take you through our background and let Surya take over from there on. The agenda for today is basically a brief introduction about myself and Surya, and then um, what we do as a company, Data Platter. We'll brief about the conversational BI from a Gen AI perspective, and show you certain demos. Essentially, some of the implementations what we've done with our customers, walk you through so that you can take away some of the learnings what we've done, and try to understand the magnitude of order in terms of if you were to implement something in similar lines within your organization or within your department. It's fairly easy if you were to do a quick POC or a pilot. That's something you can take away from the demo which Surya is going to undertake, and then talk about voice AI and Q&A. We're going to address some of those ones. From an administrative standpoint, if there are anything, you can continue to pose those questions in the forum. One of my colleagues will take it up, and then we'll address it in the end of the session. Okay. Yeah, just a quick introduction of myself. I'm the co-founder for Data Platter. I've been in the enterprise for close to 20 plus years, and we started this company 3 years back, and here we are. We've transformed ourselves from data to machine learning, and now to Gen AI. And so I'll let Surya introduce himself and take it forward. Yeah.
Thanks, Harisha. So I am leading the AI practice along with the data science and the traditional predictive modeling work at Data Platter. So nice to meet you all. Thanks for your time, and looking forward to having the rest of the conversation.
Thank you. So Data Platter, as the name says, right? I mean, the thought behind the Data Platter as a company stems from what we thought was to provision the data on a plate, or kind of a prefabricated data sets, especially from an enterprise standpoint. So that's where the name coined us, and that's where we started. We were a bunch of colleagues formerly working for a number of clients. We've come together to bring our expertise into the enterprise space, and that's how we started this company, right? And who we are essentially, where we specialize in the enterprise side is, we had number of implementation experiences on the Oracle side, SAP, Workday, Salesforce, and so what we ended up doing is to build some of these pre-built solutions for the enterprise to accelerate their implementations, right? So that's our background. And in terms of the technology stacks, we are fairly agnostic. We could possibly take on any of the tech stacks out there. We're not necessarily associated with one or the other, right? We could, depending on the kind of technology you have within your organization, whether it's Databricks, Snowflake, GCP, Azure, we have the expertise to come and implement in your organization. And what we bring to the table is more or less the subject matter expert within the industry, within the process areas, uh, from a functional standpoint as well as a technical standpoint. That's our strength, and yeah, so that's what we do. So with that said, I'll just give you a brief some of the service offering what we do. Um, if you I'll briefly go over this. Is essentially what it is: a one-stop shop from a data standpoint. It is not just the reporting side or just the ingestion side. We try and implement end-to-end kind of an approach, starting with the establishing the pipelines, the transformations, visualization, and then subsequently, obviously, reporting and so on and so forth. Associated with that, we also help in the data ops side of it, from an infrastructure CI/CD process. And the most important one is the accelerator or the Codex framework. We have frameworks to accelerate your enterprise solutions, whether it's Oracle, SAP, Salesforce, or Workday. Kind of a plug and play for any of these modules, whether it's financial, supply chain, human resource, and so on and so forth, including call centers, right? So it's a framework we bring it together and have your dev cycle cut down by almost one third the time frame per se. So that's what we bring to the table. Data science and Gen AI is something which we're going to cover extensively today. Other than that, we do offer certain managed analytics for some of the small sized companies where we essentially take care of the entire applications, hosting it, provisioning the analytics for you. So that's something for we also offer as a hosted service for small and medium sized companies. So with that, I'll hand it over to Surya to take it further. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Harish. Thanks for that introduction about Data Platter and why we are here. A little bit of addition is along with all the services, we are a startup which well versed and well advanced into the data analytics, the business intelligence space, data modeling. This is what we've been doing, and now what we are coming to in this session is all about data science, managed analytics, data science and generative AI. So, having said that, a quick introduction of within the AI and data science space, what all do we cover? We cover the traditional machine learning, predictive modeling use cases we have delivered successfully for our clients in the past. If need be, based on the requirements, deep learning models have also been built and deployed for use cases. And then finally, what we'll be touching up a lot on in this session is all about generative AI at Data Platter. Having said that, let me set the context for the conversational BI, which you all must have seen and must have been intrigued. To set the context, go a little bit in the history. Initially, before the age of internet and computers, everything was manually recorded, and in the physical world, the analysis was done. Then came about the age of internet, wherein user data, online activity, all those kind of informations were also augmented to add more insights, more KPIs could be driven. Hence, a lot more data driven decision making was taking place, and because of the computing power, a lot more data could also be processed. Then came about the whole revolution of all the SaaS-based BI tools, the Tableaus, the Power BI, and also Looker from Google's tech stack. Uh, with it came a generation of static dashboards, which were just reports that could be consumed without interaction. And then came about the next level where a lot of interactivity could be done. The users or the business folks could interact, drill down, filter the data, and in fact talk to the data in a way to say, and that was added to the dynamism of the data. Now, static, dynamic, and then what happened was these initially these analytic reports were available only through a single medium of the BI tool. Then came about the era of embedded analytics, where all of these reports built in SaaS tools or built somewhere could easily be embedded into any of the other operational systems or other mediums that users typically use. We have these analytics reports coming in our mail, in our mobile apps, and whatnot. It's made the development of custom applications very easy. Hence, I wanted to highlight this embedded analytics. When we say embedded analytics, a bit of context for people who might have not know is you don't need to build the entire dashboards or charts from ground up. Anything that has been built within Looker's tool, which is a developer friendly BI tool, it could be embedded with a single URL. That's the beauty of it. The build once, deploy at multiple places. And from here came about the rise of conversational BI. What do we mean by conversational BI? Is nothing but, as I said in point number two, dynamism came into picture. architecture in the form of filters and interactions. In case of conversational BI, users are now able to talk to their data using natural language. They do not need to have any technical understanding or wait on the technical folks to go and get more data, more insights, or also even the charts which might not be already present in the dashboard that they're consuming. Let's having set that context. Now, let me go into conversational AI into the BI workflow. Everybody here, I'm sure, must be aware of the BI space where the data modeling happens. You are provided the dashboards, the reports, and it's available for our consumption. Now, where does the natural language or conversational BI help? As I just mentioned, now the business folks can talk to the data in natural language. They can, and this is all possible because all we know, right? It's because of the fast-paced development and changes happening in the generative AI space. With that, the natural language questions or words or the questions asked in natural language by users are dynamically converted into SQL query. They are run against the database without the user knowing what exactly happens. This abstraction is the beauty of all about conversational BI. What does this help is on the real time insights as the user is interacting with the data. They can build their own new visualizations on top of what is already built for them. A quick snippet of something what we can see at the left hand side, where users can be prompted as well as they can type their own questions to ask or to talk to their data. So within the BI workflow, we at Data Platter are heavily invested, partnered with Gemini, and we are very good and are very much advanced in the Looker development, Looker BI space. So the Google folk have been very kind, and they've developed an extension. What do we mean by extension is Looker is a BI tool. It gives you a framework using which you can build your own web applications and start embedding Looker's dashboard. Now, along with that came this conversational BI, a conversational extension, which helps us to have generative features onto our static dashboard, talk to the data along with interactivity with, and then added flavor is the natural language query. As usual, it helps us to improve the analytics capability of the reporting tool. Along with that, because it's a custom web application, this extension, we have enabled it for our customers. We are in position technically to do it for you as well. A quick demo also I will show by what exactly we mean. This is a raw enablement of the extension, generative AI extension. The generative AI extension basically helps us in two ways. It helps us to talk to the explores. Explores, by what I mean here is Looker has its own coding language or a semantic layer, which is built on top of the database to enhance the querying, the data in extraction. So this natural language can talk to this semantic layer and get the necessary analytics by building these explores on the fly. So what will happen, I will explain in a future slide. In a very simple way, this natural language is given to a, a large language model, which converts, which interprets the dimensions and the measures which are needed for this analysis. And from all these dimensions and measures which have been pre-built, it automatically and intelligently understands what are the necessary things to pick up, and it builds this explore for us. And then here, a little bit of technical skill and know-how about the Looker tool is needed. Along with this, it also provides a quick interpretation of the data, what it actually means. Now, this is talking to the explore, the semantic layer. What if I don't want that level of granularity? No worries, this has covered you as well. You can even talk to pre-built dashboards as well. So superstore data is what we all are pretty much aware. So the only difference in over here is the dashboard will be static. There'll be no explores built. You will not be able to edit it unless you have edit access. So you can you can look at the data, develop, interpret, as well as you can interact with it with the traditional dynamic features. Along with that, you can now even talk to your data on the dashboard. Now, this basically talks to the data only related to this dashboard, but it is a great feature to have a drill down capability. Again, this also gives you a quick interpretation of the backend query. and also a textual understanding of what the data understands based on your questions. So this is all about enhancing Looker's BI capabilities using the extension framework, which we can enable. And we have enabled it for our clients and even customized it because we have our own Looker developers. We have the Looker's extension framework know-hows to build all these for you. Okay, please keep posting your questions. If anything, I will take it up in the future in the later stage of the session. Now, okay, Looker looks good. What if I don't have Looker? I mean, Looker is not so easy and not so cheap. Don't worry, we at Data Platter have you covered. We have built our own in-house from scratch web application, which will give you. So we call it Insight Platter. Basically, it is insights on a platter where you can have all the features with the Looker's extension framework with your data. Here, we are directly hitting the backend database. This is a custom web application, so it's completely. Also, we are technology agnostic. Also, although the demo which we will show, if we are, I will be limiting to some tech stacks. Also, this is a scalable solution because it's completely in-house, so we can do white labeling, we can do handle your query user interface, user volume, the volume of your interpretations, model inferences, all that is completely in control. A quick insight of how does this happen. So the front end is built on React. The user queries the data using the UI. This query is sent to a model. In our case, we've used Gemini on Google on GCP. This prompt, using this prompt, the Gemini model interprets the natural language text and converts it into an SQL. Now, this SQL is then in a traditional matter run against a database. It can be, in our case, it is a BigQuery again, since we are leveraging Google Tech Stack for this demo. This query returns a result, a snippet of the data. This is again sent to the model for interpretation and building the necessary output. What So this is a very simplistic understanding that I'm trying to give. A lot of things goes into actually do building this application. Again, let's try and understand with a quick demo. So now we are going into the insights platter. We have a window where we can connect. In our case, we are leveraging Google Tech Stack. So we are connecting to a BigQuery. We have selected the project. We are selecting our uh, data set, and then we will also be presented with the table. So for our use case, let's step back and think, okay, if I were a financial manager, and for a company, I have to do quick analysis of all the financial data against the general ledger, the account codes, the payments, the credits, and all those kind of things. So for that, I will need to have some technical person in between to help me interpret the data by writing SQL query. All those was or I would have to extract the data in an Excel sheet, write macros, and be expert at whatnot. Now, with this solution, with with the conversational BI, all these problems are solved. Now, all I need to do is just query the data in a natural language. For speeding up the demo, I already have some pre-cooked queries. So this will go through the whole flow that I just shared. The query sent to the model, it generates an SQL query, it hits against the database at the backend, brings back the data snippet, and then again it is processed a bit more to build up the visualization, the data interpretation, and voila, here it is. So this is a quick snippet of what the data means. It is intelligently understood how to group by and all those things which when building the SQL query. That is all a magic of the generative AI model prompting. Here is the quick interpretation of what this data actually means. And we also have the visualization option. Now, these are all built using React frameworks, but we can also leverage Looker and other extension tools. So we have the option of changing the visualization, a quick interpretation, and all of these are built in-house completely, and which is available for plug and play, or we can since it's a custom application, we can quickly build and enhance your analytics capability and add the conversational BI to your to your services. Now, having said this, let me go back. Okay, so we have all spoken about conversational BI, and we started with Looker, which is a very technical tool. Then we went into a web application, which again a little needs a little bit of time to scale, time to build. No worries. Google provides you this no-code agent development framework, wherein you can without any coding quickly prototype these kind of use cases. It will help you create data sets which will do the embedding. The embedding is nothing but converting your natural language text data into numerical inferences, so that you are able to search it in a mathematical format by simply writing the natural query. It provides you with the search agent capability and also conversational. Search is nothing but a Google search, which the next search doesn't have context to the previous. Conversational bots have a bit of context to the previous question. So that's the only difference. So it's a no-code tool, completely on the Vertex AI, very good for quick prototyping, and this has helped some of our clients onboard onto this solution quickly on the generative AI space to do their POC, to understand their ROI on such a solution. Quick demo. So one thing I didn't tell you about is we don't need to go into Google's Google console for this. It also provides you the facility to embed it into your custom web application. So that's what we've actually done. So here's a document. So what is happening? There is a document which is a Lakewood's document which we have embedded. It's City of Lakewood financial document available online openly. So we can simply say, can you, if I do not know or I have forgotten the context of, I'm a Lakewood, I'm working in the financial department of City of Lakewood, and I forgot about the document about the codes, and I want to understand. So I can quickly tell, can you describe the document first? So it will give me a quick interpretation of what the document means. And then if I have some specific question, some specific code, so this document establishes various functions for the city of Lakewood. And then if I have something very specific question in mind, I can directly ask it here. So if you notice, I do not have to read the entire document, go through the whole thing. This gives me the interpretation of the result that I need to understand, as well as the location where this information resides within that document. So this saves the user, that person doesn't need to go through technical skills of understanding these documents, know how to parse them, how to read them. Or also in a normal physical format, you don't need to actually manually go through each page to find the exact answer that you're looking for. This is really good for quick information search, quick interpretations of the customer questions, and all those kind of things. So this is where the Vertex AI search agent comes into place. This search agent can also be done on tabular data and not just on unstructured or document data. Okay, now, so fine. We've spoken a lot, seen some demos. Great. Like, okay, what does the ROI? Where does these all fit? So some of the places that it fits is the business analyst. So very simple. Now the business folks or the C-suite or the non-technical folks do not need to wait onto the technical people to help them. They can start talking to the data as without even knowing to how to write the SQL query. So they can, as we mentioned, on the fly in real time extract necessary KPIs that which is not already built into their dashboard. This is a very good assistant, a virtual assistant for customer service teams, wherein as and when the agents are servicing their customers, and if they want to have a quick lookup on the business SOPs, on the documentation, as just we said, they can quickly do that using these agents. Or also they can do conversational analytics using their backend database. And some business specific domains, where in financial advisory, in case of healthcare, in case of legals, where you need to have the information quick and accurate, but you do not have all the time in the world to go and search through the entire data stack. So these are the places where we see the solutions have been deployed, and are not limited, but they are of helpful. Now, so far, everything was talked about was conversational BI and search agents. Now, we will still, since we are talking about generative AI capability at Data Platter, we will still touch about. We have done a webinar. There is a link attached to it if you are interested. This is basically a solution where we convert voice data into insightful dashboards or reports for contact centers. Now, what is a contact center? As it's written, it's a central hub. It's a mini department which handles the audio call or the phone conversations to help solve customers' problems, to answer the questions, to handling complaints and providing technical support. So most of these companies have this small department. So all of these they had a lot of audio calls recorded, but none of them were able to extract much insights from the call conversation, what was spoken during the call. Until not easily, I would say. It was possible earlier, but not as easily as possible with the advent of the generative AI and the natural language uh, uh, advancements. So, a quick snippet of what solution we built for one of our contact center clients was we sourced their calls from their contact systems, and using Gemini model on Google Tech Stack, we created prompts for it to extract insightful information. We are able to do transcriptions, interpret the summary of the entire conversation, the topic, and the speaker. Uh, and basically, your one tiny audio file was converted into two insightful dashboards. Where does this all fit into? So, a little bit of persona level to understand. For example, most of the contact centers have these contact center managers who have a lot of team members under them. So they have to keep a tap on how the agents are servicing, agents are performing. So earlier they had to monitor it physically, go through their sampling of the calls. They had to identify the training needs by sitting and listening to the entire call conversations. Now with these dashboards at their perusal, it's no more time consuming. They can identify agents who are doing good bad based on whatever volume of the calls they are handling. Very helpful for the quality assurance analysts who have to make sure, or who are tasked with making sure that that the customer is provided with the top quality. Again, now since a lot of data is available quickly at a quick click of a button, analyzing all the audio conversations is very fast automatically. You can even set up flags based on your business jargons, so that a little bit of automation also can be done. It saves a lot of time because now nobody has to sit through the entire call conversation duration to interpret or get out any information that they would want to know. Similarly, customer experience director. Uh, so before the Q&A, I would just quickly show you what I meant. Voice AI. Basically, we have these two sub dashboards. Some of the calls, we extract all of these data is extracted generated by generative models. Some of the KPIs that what is the total time each of the speakers spoken, what is the time when there was no conversation happening, and along with that the necessary caption or sentiments. Now, this is overall across a lot of calls. Now, if we want to understand within each call, that is also possible. This is a drill down dashboard where for each call, I can understand the overall sentiments. I can understand even the sentiment trend of each of the speakers across the entire call conversation. So these are some of the things that it is easy to now analyze a lot of call audio files with this advancements. So yeah, that's about what we had for us. So a quick before we get into the Q&A, a quick recap of generative AI at Data Platter, conversational BI into the BI workflow, Looker's enhancements, our own custom web application, and then also the other search agents and voice AI solution. So I think that's about the technical thing that we had to share for you guys. And if this is the time where we can take up any question and answers. So some of the questions would be, what is the turnaround time? What is are we bound by any technology stack? So as in one of the slides, since we have pre-cooked solution. For a quick POC, it should be not more than a week or two. For also the tech stack, we this whole demo is based on Google tech stack, React for front end, and Python as back end. But we also have expertise in Databricks, Snowflake, AWS, as well as all the Azure as well in the cloud space. So those are some of the technical skills. Also, we are not limited to just Gemini model on Google. Of course, a lot of open source models are there. A little bit of agentic work also is going on, but that's for another webinar. So there's a lot of modifications that can be done. Okay. I guess if there is any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We will be sharing this document along, and here you can find our contact information as well for you guys. Harish, I would give you the stage for this thank you note.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I think there's another question, Surya. I think folks were asking about. I mean, from a company's perspective, right? How can or which areas should they focus on? Where can they start this initiative, right? Is it boiling the ocean, or how do we narrow down a use case, right? You talked about voice related ones, which probably every company would have a call center platform. Either they could relate to a service area, or it could be a sales department, right, trying to figure out how the outbound sales are happening or an incoming sales are happening, right? The other
Right.
area which you mentioned about financial department, right, for the execs to be able to have a hands-free uh, interactive way of generating some of these reports quick and numbers. um, and then I think the other area which you focused was on the interactive ones, right? Well, what is the so some of these things is something which they can take away and see if they could relate to a different department. Maybe they belong to an HR department or a purchasing department or certain documentation which is needed to support their services, right? And these are some of the use cases. If you can highlight something in those lines where they could start. I think you also mentioned it's a fairly order of magnitude is a couple of weeks you can have an up and running pilot initiative, right? So if you can just highlight that, that'll be helpful for folks.
Right. Since this is more of an automation and adds the
Mhm.
capability of munching onto a lot of data in a very short time, and if there is a lot of manpower that is going into analyzing these audio conversations in any particular department, where you're engaging the team leaders and multiple people, to sit down, sample the data, and there is a lot of sampling error.
Mhm.
Also, after these insights, if you are not seeing any concrete or measurable outcomes, I feel then the voice AI is the right solution for you. I would say. So most of us, most of our contact center clients, they have these dashboards, reports on the traditional call analytics, basically the agent's
Mhm.
performance, agent average handle call time, and all those things. But we miss out a lot of very insightful information on the what was spoken during the call. So that audio files, that black box, that is, so if you are facing with a lot of performance issue, a customer complains, and it's not being logged in properly, and there is a rerun or return of the same complaints happening, where the agents are not able to take down the notes or not able to handle customer queries quickly. That's the place where this solution definitely matters. For example, our client, they were trying to build a 360 view of their business, so that their agents, they were very concerned about agent attrition. So they did predictive modeling, and along with that, they also added the voice AI capability, so that they could
Mhm.
understand, along with the attrition reasons why somebody is leaving, and also how they are performing during the call conversation, or basically the actual bread and butter, where you're talking to your customer. The CX is the KPI that needs to be at the top. So this is where you can definitely leverage voice AI, and we have already built the solution. We come in with a quick set of KPIs which our business domain independent. So we can
Mhm.
definitely come and build that for you and start adding on to that.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks. Um, yeah, I think any other questions you see, Sneha or Fazil, if you can pop that up, we'll be happy to handle. And do you want to reach out to us? And the contact information is in the last slide. You know, Surya, if you can flip that to the,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. So you can always reach us out at info at data platter. We could certainly share our experience and provide some advice how to go about enabling some of these quick and POCs or pilots for your organizations, right? Um, yeah. Anything else? So we should be good. I think.
Okay. With that, thanks everyone for listening in, and do reach out to us. Definitely, we'll be happy to answer if you missed answering asking the question in this session. Definitely,
So,
we can reach out
so
to
there
you
is
offline.
another question, Surya. Just a quick
Okay.
question. So it looks like there is. I mean, this is a little far-reaching question. It says, "Where do you see generative AI in the next 3 to 5 years?" I know this is changing by the weeks, by months, right? So I think it's a very long preview of
It,
where generative AI.
this is actually a very it's got a lot of political connotations to it, but I would say there is no stopping AI. And I'll take the stage and say that, yeah, AI is not going to replace a lot of hard skills. The primary easy ones might go, but I personally, being in the data science space for the past 8 to 10 years, I feel that we are not at an artificial intelligence, but we are at an assisted intelligence where human needs to be in the loop. And a good example of what I'm speaking about is the AI agents, where it was hoped that the AI agents would be able to do a lot of task automations without humans, but we are still we
Mhm.
are pacing towards it, but it's still there. A lot of time is there, so AI will speed up things, just like the motor, the wheel, the motor engine. The helped us now to move from, and we are all a fan of road trips once for now, but
Mhm.
at one time that was a dream to move from one place to another. The world is flat because of the IT now, so nothing is going to be replaced, but it will just make our life more improved, and it will be heavily used in almost all of our workflows.
Absolutely, yeah. Makes sense. Cool. So with that, we'll probably wrap it up, Surya.
Yep.
And
Sure. Sure. Thanks everyone for attending. Yeah, thanks, Harish.
thank you, Surya, for sharing all your insights and experience. Thanks, everyone, and we'll certainly keep in touch, and we'll reach out to you for more such webinars going forward. Yeah. All right. Cheers. Bye.
Wish you have a good day.